Let's start with the assessor budget.
Yep. I explained to the commission that we're going to use what you supplied in, not what we put
First.
in
Okay.
first, just simply because of timing.
Okay.
Okay,
So they should
introduce
have-
yourself.
Sherry Davies, Bannock County Assessor, and I have with me Chief Deputy Assessor Anita Hymas.
Okay, let's just go through your budget.
Okay, do you want to know the changes or?
Just run through your A and what you've done, and then jump down to your operating and what you've changed.
Okay, so because the state Idaho Transportation Department has been working on consolidating a lot of the duties and work from the assessor's offices across the state back to Boise, there's going to be a need to reduce staff in the next 2 years. So currently, I've already eliminated a position, so just not rehired for that. And so I've shown that it's the last motor vehicle technician. Did not ask for that to be restaffed. And then moving forward in the future, we'll continue to make reductions as needed. We just have to look and see what our revenues are doing with these changes. We've also been working with local lenders and like Idaho Central Credit Union, retaining title work. So I'm on a committee with the Assessors Association that we are working with the Idaho Transportation Department to see how we can get back some of that revenue that we're losing, because it's an issue all across the state. So they're looking at possibly trying to get an approval on an increase in fees for title work, because right now we only make $3 per title, I think. So that's the only change there, is a reduction. Also reduced postage in the B budget, because we are not seeing a need to send out nearly as much mail, and so reduce that down. So basically in the assessor's budget, we are going to see a reduction from $635,312 to a requested $438,000, but that does not include health insurance, because that isn't input into the benefits. So I don't know how much the reduction is without that.
Okay,
That's what I got.
any question on the assessor? Treasurer?
No.
No, not treasurer.
Appraisal.
Appraisal. Treasurer was my next tab. Where's appraisal?
Towards the back.
Right by solid waste or the landfill.
So Chrissy, I don't know if you filled in those other items, but I did.
Not yet, and it's, honestly, it will change from this year. Health insurance, if we.
Well, I
put
just
in-
mean the existing positions on appraisal.
Oh, no, we're going to use your sheets again. So they'll do the same thing.
So I made copies, because I did go back and fill those in. I'm sorry. And I made copies if you guys
Oh,
want to
okay.
see a copy of what I'm reading
How many
from.
copies to make?
I made 4.
We need a few more than that. Can you guys share?
Yeah, we can share.
And then, actually, if you want to keep one and then pass another one down to those guys.
Here you go. That's it.
We're going to share. You want to share?
Oh, you have one there too. Okay.
We're good.
Let's
We're
share,
right here.
share.
Sorry.
Okay.
Should have made more.
It's all good.
So in the appraisal budget, we just finished up and submitted our new 5-year plan. It still has not been approved yet because the State Tax Commission wants to know exactly when. We are short 1 3/4 positions in appraisal. And so they want to know when those are going to be filled. And we were also short about $24,000 in our B budget, according to the 5-year plan. So what that is a workbook that they provide, and we fill in the blanks with their assistance. And so I've addressed that on our A budget. So the analyst position that you see as you go down, most of these remain the same. Joshua Stokes is currently being trained as an analyst. So the assessor's office really needs an analyst. This is a position that you see in all of the larger counties across the state. And what that analyst does is they analyze sales data, they do the ratio studies, and they analyze what our market's doing, whether it's going up or down on a consistent basis, so that we're not just trying to figure that out once a year at the end of the year in a rush. And so that analyst will update the costing tables in ProVal so that as appraisers are doing the reappraisals all year long and making any adjustments, when they're doing that and they update that, when they recost them, they will see what they should be at that time. So they'll be able to identify at that time whether they identify that, well, there's an issue in this area because it's went up too much, it didn't go up enough, different things like that. So we have adjusted him to an analyst position.
What grade did you put that at?
It was a 13. From my research, the analyst position is generally the highest paid out of all of them in the appraisal department.
Okay. Did you run any of that through Ryan?
No, not yet.
Okay.
He's not being paid as an analyst. We haven't moved him yet.
But the position,
Anybody that's asking for a position and a grade change, I'm just trying to make sure Brian's been moved in or not.
So what I'd like to do, because we have left the Randy Hobson's position open, who's no longer here, and he was a certified commercial appraiser. We've left that open to try and figure out whether we need a full-time commercial or a split between residential and commercial for somebody. And we haven't identified anybody that is actually qualified in commercial. And so we'd like to put Joshua Stokes into an analyst position and just move that commercial position over to an analyst.
and let me just caution us about using people's names.
Okay.
We are on the record and it is being
Okay,
videoed.
my
so
apologies. Yeah.
It's just, as we
Sorry
talk
about
about
that.
individuals, it's
Yes,
positions.
Positions. My bad. And so we'd like to change and make that second commercial position an analyst. And then as we bring in and replace that position, the commercial, it would just be, instead of the residential appraiser that we currently have filled with who we want to make an analyst, that will be a residential appraiser / commercial. So it'll just change, and they will need to be a trainee as well. So, and then that's the positions that we already have, and so we've requested to add 2 new positions that are appraiser trainees. That's the 2 new positions.
Okay.
And that should satisfy the State Tax Commission as far as our need for staff. Because I would really like to get my 5-year plan approved.
So the trainee positions are grade 8s, the certified appraisers are grade 10s.
Mhm.
Okay.
And so
Okay.
the residential or commercial position would be a trainee, and we brought the commercial trainee in as a 10.
Okay.
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 I had to make some adjustments in our B budget to address the shortfall that the State Tax Commission has said that we have. And so we have increased operating supplies a little bit. Postage we increased, and that does include the postage for Master's Touch. And then we haven't had a plotter that works for quite some time. If we can identify a plotter that we can purchase now, we will try and get that done in this budget cycle. We should have plenty of funds to identify to do that, but otherwise, they haven't been able to find one that's available. So there's not one that we can purchase. So I did put a new plotter in there. We've asked for $35,000 to be out of the reserve, the appraisal reserve account, which the state calls the reval fund.
Right.
Which is why it's in like that. And that should cover, they don't care whether it comes out of reserves or whether it's levied, so that should cover the increase that they want to see in the budget.
Okay.
We've also asked for that reval fund to cover another vehicle replacement, and we don't care whether it's leased, and those monies out of reserves are just identified to pay the lease, so that it doesn't need to be accounted for in the levy.
If you want to use reserves, we'll have to purchase,
Okay,
because the lease is ongoing. So,
okay. That would allow us to retire another older, not good and dependable vehicle. So,
okay.
and we're going to need an additional one anyway with another team of appraisers. So
So you only need one vehicle?
well, we could use 2, but
Okay.
so if we can get 2 out of reserves, because we have a rather large reserve to draw from. So if we could get 2, that would be great.
Sherry, are you looking for something similar to the new ones that we just got?
Mhm.
Is that
Yeah.
sufficient for needs? Okay.
Yeah.
Any questions? All right, thank you.
That's short and sweet, easy.
Yeah. We did adjust really quick travel and education and increase that for the 2 new. And I was going over like what's left. And really travel and education, because it was broken out between assessor and chief deputy and the appraisers. And those amounts need to be swapped around because travel is the more expensive. Education is the
Just the
lesser.
registrations.
Yeah, and so we've got education, the higher dollar amount. And we are running real close to going over currently.
Okay, but you
Um,
flipped that, so we're good.
I did not.
Oh, you did not?
No,
Okay.
I just noticed that.
Okay.
So, If we could flip that and,
Well, you've got 15,000 for travel and 15,000 for education. And then for the chief deputy, you've got 10 and 10. So they're
yeah,
equals.
and so the travel just needs to be more. And
Okay,
if
so you
it's,
want an increase on
and
that.
when we've discussed before, it was just a matter of like moving things back and forth
Okay,
in those line items.
okay.
And
We'll-
so
we'll
I don't know if
rework
that's a
those
big
when
deal
we
or
do
not.
the clerk's recommendation then.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, thank you.
That's all I've got.
Go ahead and put